with that. And I think it was nice that the comic creator, especially since how much the TV show deviates from his original work, I do think it's cool that he was able to like kind of come on and be like, yeah, no, this is what I originally created.
Yeah, that is hype.
I do always feel like that does always kind of suck as like, especially since film in general is always regarded as a much more accessible medium. So if you're a comic book creator and then some filmmaker comes along and changes like everything about like your original creation, that's what people are gonna know and remember. Your thing the way it originally will be like lost to time, and that sucks.
Yeah, there is only one exception that I know of that breaks that rule.
What?
Avatar.
Oh. Well, what do you mean?
I mean, that's the only one that's broken the rule, where the original show is infinitely more popular than the movie.
Well, yeah, okay. But to be fair, one, the movie's awful, obviously. I think you can say that for most live-action remakes. In fact, like the Disney remakes are all awful. So the original animated work is what people think of, or at least what sane people think of when they think of. Like,
people with a brain will think of it.
Yeah. But like
not like the only ones that'll not think about it like that are developing brains or brains not thinking.
Well, and that's my biggest problem with like the Disney live action remakes is that like the Disney live action remakes are made to revitalize Disney's movies for the modern day, and in a world where like animation is already not respected, I feel like taking these stories that people love and then repackaging them for kids as like oh, it's no longer a stinky live action, or it's no longer a stinky animated thing, it's now in live action. And that's the thing, is because kids don't know the fucking difference. Like, I like the Star Wars prequels because I grew up with them. So kids are going to see these like live action movies, and even though they're awful, they're going to be like, no, this is what Aladdin is, not the original. And that reeks. I think that sucks.
Well, that part doesn't kill me nearly as much as business peeps, like all the business suits, right? They're sitting in their
business offices.
They're disconnected. Like, I'm on the 80th floor of this high-rise building. Like, they're disconnected from everything, and their only knowledge is, okay, the number is bigger.
Well, that's how it always is, though. That's why,
but what I mean is that, like, every single one of these crappy live-action films are actually getting insane box office, like, money. Like, a lot of that's what extra sucks, is knowing that if you want to, you can go look it up. Most of these live action freaking films have made
they've made so much money, which is why they're not stopping.
It's not just
Mulan was the one that made them take a break, and that's because it flopped on Disney Plus because it was so inaccessible.
No, it's not just more money. It's more money than the original, and that's fricked up.
Well, and I was
what?
Me and Garrett went to Elitch's the other day, and I was talking about this where, like, I have a huge issue with modern Disney.
If I didn't go to work, if I didn't have to go to work, I would have loved.
Oh.
I
did it. Well, because what happened was we were supposed to. Garrett admittedly didn't tell us what we were doing. He said there was something Meow Wolf, so we were like, "Oh shit, we love Meow Wolf, cool." So we made plans for the day, and then Garrett revealed like later on. Oh, it's not Meow Wolf, it's Elitch's. So we were like, oh shit, it's Elitch's? Okay, and I was still like 100% down. I was like, I love Elitch's. I love Elitch's, I love roller coasters, let's go. But Andy and Chris bailed immediately. They were like, yeah, no, fuck Elitch's. We were like, oh, okay, shit, so guess we're not doing this.
I would have been down just to hang out, really. And the rides are a bonus. And the food, that's the part that really got me, was that you went to like our ramen place.
Oh yeah, we went to I forgot what they're called.
It's this really like just cozy like cafe and ramen place.
I actually had rice balls this time because
it's so good. Oh, someone had rice balls last time, and they're huge. They're huge.
Yeah, no, they're really good.
I had one, and it was really good. That's the thing, dude. It's not just how good the food is. You get so much. You get so much food.
Yeah. I really.
I cannot wait to go again.
No, but just to get off the like tangent real quick, the reason why I brought it up is because I was talking to Garrett while we were at Illich's that like I hate modern Disney's theming because I know obviously part of Disney's success and a big reason like why Disneyland and Disney World have always worked is because they use their brands and their movies as theming for the park, which is like, you know, it's recognizable, it's big, you know, that works out. But like they also used to have like original shit too, you know, Pirates of the Caribbean. Like fucking Haunted Mansion and shit.
That is the example.
And they're literally phasing out everything at the Disney parks because the new Disney president is obsessed with franchising. That's the reason why Pixar didn't get to release Turning Red, Luca, and Soul in theaters. I mean, part of it was COVID originally, but like Turning Red was like came out when like theaters were fully open and they could have, but Disney didn't allow them to because literally
Luca,
it was a situation.
Okay, Luca was extra freaked up because it was like just when they were opening up, and it was at the perfect time. It would have been. Yeah. It was. That's what makes me so mad. Is not only is Luca like such a good film, but like it had the perfect storm to go nuts.
Well, and that's the thing, though, right? So they didn't allow
the first Pixar film in so long. It would have been the first Disney film in theaters after COVID. Like it was the perfect storm to get people into the theaters.
Well, and that was the thing. That
and
was
they
that, like,
didn't use it.
They literally, but that was the thing is that so like. But they didn't do it because all those movies were original ideas, and then they did Lightyear because
Pixar's smart and they want to make good stuff. That's all they want to do.
Yeah, well, and that was the thing is that, but then they did Lightyear because Lightyear is part of Toy Story. It's a franchise. They can brand it that way.
We're just repeating like the Lightyear thing. We've had this conversation before, but yeah, we're repeating this.
I genuinely, but yeah, well, it's because it's something that I genuinely makes me angry, and
the Lightyear thing makes me so mad. The only way Pixar could like get themselves in the theaters after, you know, being like bullied by Disney is because the modern executives like, I want to see what I've already seen before, but like again. And it's like, bro, we're out here making this new stuff.
Yeah.
And you want us.
Well, and that's the thing is, it's also not a very good like long-term plan because like
it's
I
not.
don't know what the fuck are they gonna do if like.
It is a problem. Okay, it's also it's a problem I have with. I'm glad comics will eventually fix this problem. But like a problem that a lot of people have with comics is that where's the new stuff? Like,
well, yeah, no, dude, the comic book.
That's why Invincible's so good. But like all of it is okay. We have to reboot Superman because it's gotten into weird territory. And it's like, cool, we know all this stuff. I want new stuff. And I mean like new stuff.
Well, that's why like I'm not even like opposed to like legacy shit. It doesn't all need to be new,
new. Oh,
but
you kidding me? Like I love legacy stuff, but I just mean that like it just doesn't feel like they're trying as much anymore with like there's no hype like new DC heroes or Marvel.
Yeah, no, same.
Exactly. And that's what the inevitability is that like is kind of what's happening with Disney now, where like the inevitability is okay, we're not making anything new. What's the plan? And then they all go like, we make what we did before, but again. That's what live action is. It's hey, what do we do now that we have everything?
Yeah.
And we don't want to risk. We don't want to do anything new, even though that's what we're supposed to do. So what's the plan? The only plan is to do it again. And that plan usually sucks. Unless there genuinely is like it's been outdated, like genuinely, like the terminology or the situation is so alien to the modern audience. That doesn't happen a lot, but yes, then you have to make a new one. Why do you think Cinderella's been remade so many times? It's because the original concept just doesn't make sense at all. Like, it just doesn't make sense. So you like put it in a modern setting, and it starts to make more sense. And it's like, Same with Romeo and Juliet. The reason why it's been remade so many times is because so many different cultures have to represent the same concepts in different ways. That's why Romeo and Juliet is a at first.
Well, but also Romeo and Juliet, I feel like was made so now, earlier into storytelling comparatively, relatively, that you can it's a very simple story that you can kind of twist into whatever narrative you really want it to be.
It's not the no, it's not the narrative part. It's the reason why there's, I would say, the modern audience. There's a lot of a lot of the modern world doesn't understand legacy beef. You know what I mean? Oh, my parents hate this. My parents hate this family. So what? That's not my. I don't have beef with that family. That's just not a thing.
Well, there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot more focus on individuality nowadays.
That's what I mean. Is so you have. So what do? You have to rewrite Cinderella because it's not Cinderella. You have to rewrite Romeo and Juliet because the whole original basis is that these families freaking hate each other. So you have to rewrite it so that it works. And you hand it to another culture, and this other culture's well, we don't have that beef either, and this is not how we have our young people court each other, and so they have to rewrite they make their version of Romeo and Juliet, and it's beautiful. But the thing is though, that's the only time you should be remaking stuff, or I guess more recontextualizing, because I'm sure older people that are historically savvy will want to see the original again, and it's there for them. But they're doing that's what Disney doesn't need to make a new Little Mermaid, new Pinocchio. This is all stuff that is the modern audience, children can learn, they not just learn from watching it, but can understand. They're all very Beauty and the Beast is kids are bullied at school. They understand that
wait. Which part of Beauty and the Beast are kids bullied at school?
What do you mean? I mean, they can understand why someone would be alienated based off.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying,
I thought you were saying Beauty and the Beast was a story about a kid being bullied at school.
No. I just mean that, no, I mean, the story doesn't need to be recontextualized. It can be understood by current young people, current kids in school. They can understand this. It doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be remade. But what does Disney do? They remake it, and it's why you just want money, and you have no ideas. And it sucks because you have all the money in the world.
The biggest thing is that I don't know, listen, Walt Disney was not a perfect dude, but I kind of liked when he was in charge of his own company.
Yeah.
Because when he was in charge of his own company, Disney at least felt like a vehicle for his ambition, as a creative.
Yeah.
And now it just, I don't know.
They
struggled throughout the 2000s, and then
What blows my I think
now they're
only
obsessed with getting as much money so that they can not have another 2000s.
I think Walt has had a ton of influence. Not when I think about it, has probably had a ton of influence on how I want stuff I want to see, right? Yeah. And I'm sure that's how he started.
Oh, I mean, dude, you and everybody else, as much as some people wouldn't like to admit it, everyone's influenced by Disney to some degree because of how much influence Disney and his company has.
No, I'm not saying in a negative way. I'm saying it blows my mind that his vision for Disney is what is affected me when I look at classical stories, where I'm just man, I just want to see this on the silver screen. There's so many. That's why I like it's one. I mean, actually, this is cool, crazy. Yesterday, I watched Wolfwalkers, and it's one of the reasons why I like Wolfwalkers so much. It's just this is a classic tale being retold. And if we want to talk about I also, this is perfectly just syncing up. Wow. I don't know. I'm just impressed with.
Why'd you rewatch Wolfwalkers?
Because it's freaking amazing and one of my favorite films of all time.
Okay. I just thought did you watch it with anybody, or were you just watching it?
I watched it with my sister because she was also in the mood. But it was just yeah, it's so.
And good. I assume she had already seen it.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. listen. I don't.
Look.
And I think I've discussed this before, but I have like an actual like thing where I don't rewatch a lot of stuff that I like by myself. I usually look for an excuse to show someone who's never seen it before.
I'm definitely the same way. Why do you think we talked about reactions for a while?
Yeah,
there are very small. Like I have to be in the mood. There's like a mood. I'll be like, I don't care. I want to watch this. I don't care. That's very rare though. But like, yeah, both of us are in the same boat where like we watch people react for a reason, and we want our friends to watch stuff with us because it's an excuse to watch them. And we've talked about reactions earlier in this playthrough and stuff too.
Yeah.
Or your playthrough, I guess.
Well, no, but that's like a big thing because I was
honestly okay. First off, the prime example is you would not normally play through Dread again, and this series is like an excuse to play Dread again.
Yes and no.
It's a part of it, yeah.
I do.
Same with Mario 64.
I don't know why I've always been like video games have actually been a lot easier with that. All things considered, like I haven't played Dread for like 6 months. But here's the thing: that's the thing is like if I was more of Dread is a game that I like so much that I would genuinely play it more if I wasn't like this. Yeah. And like that's like for example, I haven't played. I used to play Zelda games when I was younger. I used to play Zelda games like back to back to back, just over and over and over again because that was that was just like it was like the easiest way to like fuck. How do I?
Oh frick!
There we go. Just replaying a game used to be just like because I didn't have games and I didn't have money to go buy them. Now that I don't do it nearly as often, but I do still replay games. I replay games weirdly enough more than like, considering how much of a time sink they are. It's weird that I replay games at all. When it comes to movies, I just genuinely don't always love sitting down and rewatching a movie, but I do like still like those things and I want to rewatch them. So I always use like my friends as an excuse. I'll always be like, hey, you want to watch? Yeah. You want to watch this movie with me because then I can kind of see your reaction to it. Yeah. And
well the not just like reaction but like eventually maybe some people need time to sink in is like maybe talk about it because that's like the best part.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing is like I'm not gonna lie, like a big reason why because I've been almost kind of like I almost feel like an abusive.
I can't. I mean, like it'll come up in casual conversation eventually, but like. Dude, Wolfwalkers is so good. Wolfwalkers is a movie that I would genuinely just strike up because it's like, I almost don't see it as a movie. It's more of like a ride to me because it's just like, beginning is super slow and kind of hard to get through, but then like it's all worth it because it just builds up to the end and the end is so good. It's just
I like the ending a lot. I will say, I will admit this. While I love the art style, the general plot and vibe the movie went for, that was one of the few times where I'd say when you showed it to me, it was one of the closest things to a miss you've had. And I don't mean a miss in terms of like, oh, it was bad and I did not enjoy watching that. I just mean like, it was a movie that I enjoyed, but because I think that goes to show like your ratio of hits to misses. But it was a movie that I enjoyed.
When I show someone, I don't know. When I try to show I have this problem where when I try to show someone something, I want to make sure that like it's 100% in their court. Like they would absolutely love this thing, which is why I don't show a lot of things to people, and it sucks because there's probably a lot of stuff they're missing out on. For example, like. Man, I should have put the pieces together. I kind of still beat myself over about this, but like one of our friends is super into like the occult and like assassins and brooding, all this stuff. It's just like, how did I not think of like to show him Berserk? What the frick? And then he found Berserk on his own.
Are you talking about Yedna?
No.
Oh. Andrew. I told you that Garrett read like all of Berserk in like
he did. He's weeks. He's better than all of us.
He read all of it in a couple weeks.
I'll get all the copies eventually, and I'll find the time eventually. I fell off I don't remember anything about the chapters. I actually remember the original anime from the 80s a lot better. And,
well, because
anyways,
I don't.
I just mean that, like, yes, I admit that, like, Wolfwalkers was one of the most. It was the first time, I think, where I was like, I don't know if you'll like this, but it is good.
No, I want to be clear. None of like
Wolfwalkers, I was mostly like, I don't know if you like the characters or the writing or the pacing, but I want you to see this because regardless of if you will like those things, it's art, it's ability to show what is going on.
Oh yeah, no,
it's unrivaled, and you will enjoy a good portion of this film.
Oh yeah, no, well, and I want to be clear that like once again, like I didn't.
It's not like
it was not a. When I say like a miss for you, I do not mean like I didn't enjoy myself. I mean like or that I didn't like it. I mean like
aware.
I mean like 100%. It was just like this. It didn't stick with me as much as some of the other stuff you've shown me.
It was not the Legend of Hay. All right, I know. I'm aware.
Yeah, I know. The Legend of Hay was also I don't know. The Legend of Hay is good. Once again, I really liked it, and I liked it enough to actually show it to other people as well, as you know. Sorry about that.
I hate that so
but I don't know. The Legend of Hay was also like it's definitely not in like the top 10 of stuff that you've shown me. I'd actually say Silent Voice is the biggest one, where like when
a Silent Voice.
You kind of had to pull teeth a little bit to get me to watch a Silent Voice, and that movie hit me too fucking hard.
You have no idea how much I love that. That's like that's arguably, for the longest time, it's been my favorite movie of all time. And but it got to a point where like I was like in denial. I was like, no, nothing beats The Princess Bride. And then it was like, what are you talking about? I've seen this.
I think that's interesting.
I spent an unreal amount. You have nothing can describe like how I feel about that movie. I love that movie to death. It's like my favorite.
Well, because you and Andy both, your favorite movies were The Princess Bride, and
for the longest time,
just like you, his favorite movie is no longer The Princess Bride.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Okay, this is not a recent thing. The Silent Voice has been my favorite movie for.
No, I know, but Andy in the last couple of years also replaced his favorite movie, with it's now Princess Mononoke, which I did make a joke about that both titles start with princess.
Yeah, but dude, man, I can't describe just how I feel about Silent Voice. It's so good. The thing is, the Silent Voice, I was like, I love. Okay, I don't know if this says anything. I don't know if this describes just how I feel about it, but I was like, if I show this to you and our friendship ends, as long as you finish this film, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with friendship ending. I was okay with my friendship ending with you.
I would never end my friendship with anyone over a movie that they showed me.
But my point was that
if that was the case, I would have ended my friendship with Chris years ago. About the shitty movies that he's shown me.
True. But I just mean that, like, I just was like, I couldn't, I just had to see it again. I had to see it again. That's a movie I've seen by myself an unreal amount of times, despite needing an excuse to watch more.
Well, I watched it like after the day you showed me that movie. I watched it again because I was watching it with you and Michael, so I wasn't really able to like fully like process the emotions because I was trying to like keep up a front of like, yeah, I'm a man, I don't need to fucking cry at this shit. But like when I watched it with you guys, when I watched it like at home in private, it made me bawl like a baby, and I was able to like fully process the emotions that the movie made me feel, and that was a transformative experience.
I don't know if anyone would ever believe me, but I watched the movie on repeat for like over a day. Like I just watched it.
I don't think I've ever done that with anything. Well, outside of Toy Story, I did that with Toy Story when I was a child. But that's because
I did it with a Silent Voice, and I was, I think, 19, 17, something like that. A Silent Voice I liked before it was even dubbed. It took a long while for it to get dubbed. I watched it a lot before it was even dubbed, and when it was dubbed, bro,
that's rare for you.
So hyped. Huh?
That's rare for you.
It's that good.
You over everybody I know tend to be like the sub guy or the dub guy.
It is a lot of it being like the dub part, but like a very personal note. Very dyslexic, very illiterate person.
Fuck.
There's no way I'd be able to get through anything if it wasn't dubbed. Like I couldn't read it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I can see how that'd be a thing.
Like I'm gonna destroy our friendship right now. You show me, like, people will show me memes and they have more than like I have like words. I'm dying inside, dude. I'm not reading it.
I do.
I'll do a half laugh and then like sometimes someone will read it to me and then I'll just be like, cool.
I do. Well, no, I do. I intentionally do that though because I kind of noticed that because I don't know if you've noticed, but I will sometimes just like read stuff for you when I'm showing it to you, like just back to you. Just because I know that, like, I can tell that you, like, I didn't necessarily know that it was necessarily because of dyslexia, but I was like, I can tell that,
No. Okay, dyslexia is a part of it, but the main part of it is that I am quite illiterate. Like, I actually can't read.
I mean,
I have a hard
you're not actually illiterate. You can... I get what you're saying, though. You have the capacity.
Yeah. None of it sticks ever. But like also, yeah, it's really hard to read. I just can't understand words.
Fucking hell! I can't get this button combo down. It's so awkward to do this. And this is the only time they ask you to do anything like this in the whole game. I've always had, like, an issue with this part of the fight. It's... Fuck!
Is it like a charge?
You have to hold down 3 buttons to pull his thing off of. Because that's just how the grapple works. But you normally don't have to do it in combat situations like this on the fly that fast.
Got it.
Fuck. And I missed the counter that time. That... Got him.
Nice. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, this is a real boss fight, bro. Yeah, I swear you would have beaten him by now. No!
These are the bosses, and that's what the weirdest thing about this game is that the bosses that I always suck on, and I pointed this out when I was fighting the beetle boss, like, the bosses that I suck at this game are, like, the, like, super sub-bosses that they just, like, modify in simple ways to really screw with me.
Well, what was nuts is that, like, this guy's got some insane health or defense or something, because
Well, no, like he is the souped-up version of this, and I'm just, I don't know, I'm not a big fan of, like, that sort of thing in general. It's the reason why I dislike the fuck out of Master Mode from Breath of the Wild. Because they added that mode as DLC, and they're like, oh, we added a hard mode, except the game was actually built, like, to be harder in a natural way. It was built to be harder in, like, we just made because all they do is they upgrade the color of every enemy. So when you're supposed to be fighting reds in the game, normally you're fighting blue, bokoblins, and shit like that. So it just makes all of the enemies' health, like, way higher, and they regen health. So it's just, like...
Would you consider that artificial difficulty then?
Yeah, like, definitely. It's not like they didn't actually, like, make the game organically more difficult in any way. They just made the process of defeating everything longer, tedious, and more resource consuming.
That is okay. That is the definition of artificial difficulty. That's some jeez.
No, I genuinely... There's a couple things...
I guess it's better than not having it.
There's a couple cool ideas that they add to Master Mode that I think are cool. Like, they randomly just, like, decided to add, like enemies that are on, like, little, like pieces of wood being held up by, like, Octorok things. So it makes them, like, float in the middle of air. And that's really cool. Like, that's, like... I wish it was more stuff like that where they just shake up the formula and make enemies, like, harder to reach like that. Because that's, like... And it also has, like, a lot of, like, actual development time put into stuff like that. Yeah. But they don't do that enough. It's just a lot of it. There is the gold Lionels. The gold Lionels is like, because there's gold enemies in general, which aren't in the regular game. but they also add gold Lionels, which are like the hardest form of Lionel, and I think those work because Lionels are already set up as a boss fight, and that just makes them a like way more challenging version of the Lionel boss fight, which I think works better. Which I mean, I guess means that I shouldn't hate this boss so much, which I don't. I don't know, because once again, I don't think that anything that this game does is nearly as atrocious as Master Mode from Breath.
Yeah.
Also, we're here, by the way.